Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Electrical Estimating. I'm your co host, Chris Trummer. And as always, I'm joined by our other co host, Sal Huerta. Sal, how's it going today?
Good guys. How's everyone doing?
So, we got something interesting today. It's our first time that we're going to be having two guests sort of mashed up into one episode. And I think it's important because both Sherilyn and Paul, they're past guests that have joined us before. They have great industry knowledge. They've been in the industry forever. And they're really speaking to first time software purchasers. I think I put that correctly. You know, the contractor that's maybe coming into a place where they need an estimating software. And with all of their experience in the past, Sherilyn's able to bring a lot of questions that they should be asking when they're looking at this space. And Paul's bringing some questions, but also some solutions into what McCormick actually offers. And I think it's a good dynamic between the two.
I agree. And this is an important subject because when you're looking to purchase a software, your first mind always goes towards the investment. How much is it going to cost? But the reality is there's a number of different factors that are specifically around your company. What size are you? What kind of jobs you do? Are you looking for the software to grow with you, or are you looking at it as a one-time purchase to get you over the hump? So there's a number of questions that pop up that you do have to kind of like look at before you start interviewing these software companies.
I know from my experience, I worked with a company in the past and we were looking at a new service program. And, it was a lot of steps that I put into it where we looked at every single software out there and made a spreadsheet and of all the columns of what we needed. And as we talked to them and demoed, we would put check marks if they met the requirement or not. It narrowed the list down further. And then we met with the company again and sort of got more information, sometimes about pricing. We kept whittling this down over like a 3-month period until we were down to two different companies that offered us what we were looking for within the right price range. We're able to grow with us over time, integrate with, our accounting software and our warehouse software and our purchasing software. But it was a process. It wasn't something where we just Googled it and the first one that came up, we said, well, this would work. It was something that we put, I think in the end, almost 4 months into, because after the 4 months, it took us another 4 months of integration and training and all this. So it's not a small investment, especially like you said, if it's something you want to grow with your company.
And that, again, another good point that this isn't a simple decision. Like you said, you just call up something on the internet and first one that pops up is the one. You do have to do your due diligence. Contractors have to determine, is a database, a part of what they're looking for? Does it fit their work? Other are generic software programs. They do painters and they do landscapers and they also do electrical. So you have to look at all of these things, and it is a process to go through them to find the one that you're looking for. And again, you also made a good point that this is the jump off point. From there, once you decide on it, there's training, integration, all the kind of stuff that you need to get your company up to and your people up to speed on how to work all this.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. Let Sherilyn and Paul give us their insights and go from there. So, as always, great speaking with you. Talk to you soon. There's always new contractor companies coming onto the market. What advice would you give a contractor that's actually looking to select the new estimating software? Like if they're starting from scratch and they're just sitting here searching the internet, looking at all the different companies that are out there, and they don't have any starting point other than to make a million phone calls and just set up a bunch of demos. Do you have anything, any words of advice that you could give to them that maybe helps them along to sort of on this journey of theirs to selecting the right one that would work best for them?
Sure. My advice, you want a piece of software that will grow as the industry grows. Maybe you're a commercial contractor and now you're getting more into data low voltage work. Does the software allow you to shift your focus, or are you going to be stuck with a piece of software that's obsolete? Or the database doesn't have what I need any longer. So you want to look at those things. Also, how easy or difficult you feel like that database is going to be to manipulate. Do I have to hire a team of engineers just to be able to add something to it? Or is it something that anyone should be able to do within that database? You also want a software that will invest in training. What are your options to get everyone trained? What does the training model look like? Will my estimators have to travel? Do they offer virtual options? So those are things that you want to be mindful of too when you're selecting it. And it's not just what model the software offers, it's also what you as a contractor is willing to invest in your people to ensure that their estimators are available to train and then given the needed time to practice to become proficient. The estimator cannot go to a week-long training or what have you and come back to the office and there's a $2.5 million job on his desk
Mhm.
needing to be estimated with the new software. Also, I think when purchasing and estimating software, is there support available when issues arise? There are so many things to consider when purchasing estimating software. Is it cloud-based? Does it integrate with your accounting software or your job costing purchasing software? So I think people just have to look at that. And of course, the cost. People just have to look at all those pieces because it's an investment.
I want to circle back to a point that we have in there because in the beginning we were touching upon first time contractors that were coming in to this space, starting to look at estimating software, and in your mind, what's we went through what they should be looking for, the time frame of when they should be reaching out to companies. What should their first step be? Should they be requesting consults with every estimating company out there, or should they be doing in-depth research at the company's websites to see like if they have a certain specialization or a certain, ability that they're looking for? If they're out there, what should be their first, I guess, research step in this process, or what should they be looking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there are websites out there that do compare all of the estimating softwares. One for example, Software Advice. You can go on, you can read reviews, you can see the kind of the differences between the softwares, but again, you have to kind of take those with a grain of salt. So
Mhm.
what I would suggest is always do a demonstration on the softwares that you are interested in. You know, Reach out, speak to one of our consultants. They're going to take you through a whole demonstration of the software, and it's almost like a free training class. It
Okay.
really is. You're talking about an hour and a half to do these demonstrations. And it's great because we show you the software from A to Z and give you the experience of an actual bid going out the door. And that's what you want to see. So you're going to learn a ton from that. Is this what I want? Does this have all of the items and assemblies that I need to do my takeoff? Is it easy enough? Is it customizable enough? These are all the things you want to look at when you're reviewing it. But with McCormick, there's also several options of software to choose from, depending on how big or small of a contractor that you are, and how would you like it installed. So there's so many things to look at when you do look at an individual company. So I guess the first question you have to ask yourself is, would you like it in the cloud or do you prefer it, on premise? Do you want it
Mhm.
sitting on your computer or do you want, the estimating company to hold all your data and keep it safe? And the other great advantage of having it in the cloud is that you can share that data with other estimators that may not be at the office or may not be on your
Okay.
network. So again, that's what you have to look for. And then again, if you're how big or small you are, we have smaller estimating programs, or we have the large pro estimating
Okay.
system. So there's a lot of options out there, and you really have to kind of talk to that consultant, and you need to let them know what you're looking for
Yeah.
and what's your pain. I mean, what do you need? Do you need estimators to share data? Are you just looking for speed and you want to get through bids? I mean, there's so many different paths we can take you down, and we want to give you that information. And like I said, go through that free training class, figure out which installation is going to be best for you, and then figure out your plan for implementation. I think that is probably one of the most important things that you can look into, because a company that doesn't help you get this program up and going,
Mhm.
or that doesn't have good support, they're just not worth looking into. I can tell you that right now, because you're going to purchase a software and you're going to get on that software and try to use it, get confused, it's going to sit there for the next year and waste your money. So
Yeah.
you don't want to do that. So, with McCormick, I could just tell you actually get a technician to set you up one-on-one. They give you the starting explanation of how to log into it, how to start playing with it. And then what we do is included with all of our software, we have one-on-one training with you. So it's online. We can see exactly what you're doing. And honestly, this step is crucial. McCormick wants you to succeed. That is why we put so much emphasis on this one-on-one experience. Yeah. We never want you to feel like you have to do this on your own. And so many contractors out there, they feel like they're on their own, or they're scared to get into software.
Yeah.
So we try to take that fear away from them. So with us, I mean, it's more of a partnership. We want you to be successful with us for the next 40 years. So
which I can understand. I mean, like you said, you don't want to buy it, not have that support at the time. And I mean, you just leave it there because you're either scared of it, you don't understand it, and it just becomes something you invested in and you're not using. Now, with this setup and support you talked about, how long, say September 1st, they wanted to begin with you guys, how long till they're probably up to speed, ready to go, and an estimator's ready to jump into this program and start banging out jobs?
Well, yeah, there's a couple different parts to that question. So, the first is the initial setup process and how long to launch. I mean, again, we just talked about the different installation choices if you wanted on-prem or if you wanted to in the cloud. But whichever one you pick, McCormick usually can have you set up within about 24 hours.
Okay.
So
that's ready on either the cloud or installed, ready to go at that point.
Exactly, ready to roll. If you know McCormick already, you're estimating. That's
okay.
You're off and going.
So from there, how long would those sort of online classes, you said, if their team needs that, to get up to speed? You think a couple weeks, a month, a week, because it seems like 24 hours to just get them ready is a quick turnaround. So I'm guessing the training process is rather quick at that point as well.
Some people will require a bit of one-on-one training first, and that's why I keep stressing this. We want to do that one-on-one with you, even if you are coming from a competitor, because we're going to show you all these different things that our program can do that will speed you up in the end. So, we usually set this up within a day or two of you purchasing the software. They are, 2-hour sessions via online. So we take you through the sessions, again, one-on-one. My trainers logged onto your screen. They can see everything that you're doing on the program, and they can show you, obviously, the best path forward.